Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
I'm Sam Cherry.
And I'm Brooklyn Welch.
Yes, guys, we've got our first guest. It's Brooklyn, our reality check correspondent, here to give us the lowdown on Circle Season 2, a show that initially we thought, wouldn't that be silly if that was a show, and then it turned into everyone's real life for a year. So yeah.
So this is going to be a very special reality check episode, and if you're looking for Script Doctor, if you're looking for Zach's Secret Book Club, it's not here. It's not, but we have a special guest, and so this one is going to be even better.
Wait, is someone looking for Zach's Script Doctor?
I'm looking for Zach's Secret Book Club, in fact. I am actually every week looking for Zach's Secret Book Club.
So sorry to disappoint. Before we jump in, can I just tell a little story about how I conned my way onto this podcast?
Absolutely.
Zach, she told me this at a bar, and I was so impressed. And also, no, that was it. I was just so impressed by this. Because I'm about to as I mentioned before on the show, I'm real stupid, and Brooklyn really took advantage of that, and I'm proud of you.
Okay, here's the story of how I bullied Sam for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. So, I've been friends with Sam for 2-3 years now. And
yeah, something like that.
So I subscribed to his podcast, to this podcast, years ago when you guys started, because I'm a good friend and was trying to support, but I'm not a good enough friend to have ever listened to the podcast. So, as of 3 weeks ago, I had never heard it, but it was pre-downloading in my podcast feed. So when my whatever podcast I was listening to ended, y'all started. And I was like, dang, this is actually pretty good. Let me give it a listen. And as I started listening, I started realizing, this is just like the crazy shit only Sam knows. And it's just like sitting at a bar with Sam and hearing the weird things he knows that no one else knows. And I got this brilliant idea. If I put in my phone a list, Operation Troll Sam, how long could I go making notes about direct quotes and topics you guys talked about on your podcast, and then casually bringing them up in conversation with him before he realized I was just quoting his podcast back to him? So I wrote down...
You could have gone forever. You literally could have gone forever.
Yes, and here's what that says about you, Sam. That says you just wanted to know that someone else was as weird as you are.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just you and Zach.
Oh, yeah, because you were playing a long game.
Through listen to some of the things that she said to me word for word, weeks in a row.
Yes, bring up. Whoa, yeah, I want to see the notes. Bring them up.
Okay, let me get Operation Troll Sam on my phone. I started April 4th.
So stupid, guys.
Great code name, Uncrackable.
Yes, and I wrote down 9/11 wedding. Quote, SNL makes the same joke.
That's an interesting one to start on, in that I feel like Sam would only know about that. And even as he was saying that to me, I was still convinced it was a bit of a fever dream.
I know. The second one was, quote, SNL is making the same joke for 6 minutes. All their skits should be 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is not that hot of a take, right? That's the one I actually started with, because that felt easy. It was just, you think that too, me too, da-da-da. That one went fine. I somehow convinced him, and by convinced, I mean I said it and he believed me, that I watched the Snyder Cut episode of Justice League. I have never in my life even seen a Marvel movie. And he just didn't even question
cool and we're not, yeah.
And then the last one, I thought, there's no way I can get a mention of this without blowing my cover. And I thought the whole time, if he asks me if I'm listening, the gig is up, I'll admit it.
Yeah.
But Zach, I actually think this is a quote from you, that the Muppets have chaotic energy.
That sounds like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something I believe. Whether or not I said it, it's something I believe.
Sure. So I thought there's no way that this is going to come up, that I can say it where it's not just totally out of left field. And by the will of God himself, one of my friends brought up the Muppets, and I was like, you got to shoot your shot. So I said, the Muppets just have chaotic energy, man. And I thought Sam was going to fall out of his chair. And he looks me in the eye and says, I know you don't listen to my podcast, but you have to come on as a guest. You have the exact same energy.
Oh my God.
So stupid.
And now here I am.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
to be clear, none of our other listeners, I want to say this will not work twice. It might work twice. I'm very dumb, but don't try that.
No. This does not make you
show.
sound dumb. It's just funny.
Man, that is absolutely perfect. That is so
She looks
good.
me in the eyes and says, "The Muppets have chaos energy."
Yeah, it is of the mind that Sam had forgotten the takes that we already had, and so whenever they came back around, he was like, "That's some shit that Zach would say."
I remembered it. I knew that
come
we had
on
talked
the
about
show.
it. That's why I was like, you have to come on the show because you have a lot of the same opinions as me and Zach. You'll fit right in.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just quoting the show to me.
So good.
I mean, I'm
and
happy
that,
you're on the
ladies
show
and gentlemen,
regardless.
is how you con your way anywhere you want to be in life.
No, so I think that the reality check episode is perfect for you in that this is some high level like gameplay. Like if take that same.
You do great on the circle.
I mean, take that same sort of ideology, like and like move it over to like a Big Brother, or move it to like another show where there is a lot of strategy involved, and then there is like something where, I don't know, maybe a show where, unlike the other shows where you meet everyone first time, like you get a chance to research the people. Brooklyn, I feel like if Sam or I were on a show, and I feel like we would be so not attuned to people knowing about this podcast that if you came in with like those takes, I feel like we'd be like, we got to make an alliance with this person. She has a lot of the same Muppet style chaotic energy we're looking for in this Big Brother house.
She also doesn't like the Justice League. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she also has a very specific take on the middle console of Priuses, which is what Sam and I were just talking about. But yeah.
It's objectively stupid. It's objectively stupid the way they put the car together.
Yeah, no.
I've never even been in a Prius.
Well, Brooklyn, I got to tell you.
Wait, that's not true. I took a Prius Uber the other day, and when they were putting my suitcase in the trunk, I kept thinking, man, these things really are quiet.
Yeah. Well, it's so I'm looking to buy a car right now, and
we can't tell this story 2 weeks in a row. We can't tell this story 2 weeks in a row.
I'm just going to say
you're going to
that
buy a Prius?
When you're looking at things like it is when you're looking at car designs, once the thing is holding over you, it's like, this is $15,000. You start to notice everything inside the car and go, why did you do this? Why is this?
Yeah,
a blind man could have noticed this in this car.
Yeah. And it's just like the inside of the car should be the easiest thing, where like someone's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I go, hey, I'm thinking that you should shut the hell up and just do what everyone else is doing. Just make it like everyone, like no one wants a surprise when they get into this thing.
We don't need to disrupt car interiors.
We figured it out. All right, let's work on.
I am literally grieving that I didn't get to use that against Sam. That would have been so funny to bring up.
Oh yeah, but Sam, I had to explain in great detail. It would have worked out too, because you were in the Uber. You were just like, I was in an Uber, and then like, and like this had this really weird middle console.
It would have worked immediately.
Honestly, Brooklyn, I'm telling you this now. You could probably still do that. You could probably still get Sam with that exact same thing.
Keep the bit going after we've already discussed it. You're probably right.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think what it is I'm just so desperate to bullshit at a bar with another insane person.
Yeah.
That anyone who gives me a crazy take, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about this crazy thing. But yeah, you could probably trick me.
Yeah, but there's quite literally nothing crazier in the zeitgeist right now than The Circle season 2.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Great
we're
transition.
I'm gonna move right into it, and for our listeners that are unaware of The Circle is and I explained this last week, but once again, The Circle is a game show in which all of the contestants live in probably one-room apartments inside of this like big like a hotel looking thing, and they can only communicate to each other via this in-game social media app called The Circle. And it's connected to all of their TVs, and they use it to message one another, and they use it to play some sad games, and they can compete by getting to know each other, making alliances. It's very similar gameplay to that of Big Brother, where you're trying to make alliances because you are voted off at the end of each episode. And so they try to maintain the length in which they're in the circle by making friends. And season 1 of the circle, they took all of the gameplay out of it and just all became best buddies. And so it was like watching a bunch of just best buddies hanging out. And periodically they would add new cast members to the circle. They would come in and be like, "What's up? I'm Ed." And anytime those people,
my mom.
Yeah, anytime those people would show up, the 5 that were on the first day would go, "We don't know you, and we're voting you out because you're not a part of our family." And it's like, you guys have known each other for 4 days. Stockholm syndrome really got your ass. Like, it's too late for you. Yeah, it was one of the veteran characters in the circle that won the first season. And the second season, there was a lot more gameplay, which is what I, of course, want to talk about. I want to talk about the evolution of the circle, moving from a very warm hug between 5 people and turning into this like cutthroat, like very intense game. Those are the 2 main differences, in my personal opinion.
Well, and I appreciated that it was more of a game. They had an entire episode dedicated to the thing that I dislike about this show the most, which is we have to figure out who the catfish is, which made me, of course, yell at my TV, "Why does this matter?" Because it has absolutely no value to the game. They're just like, well, if they're not being genuine, which was all season 1, and it drove me fucking crazy.
Yeah. So one thing I also did mention is, because you are in these other apartments and you never see the other person, you can play as anyone in the whole world that you want to. And there are some people that are playing as catfish eye. And anytime that like it got to the thing of like people voting people off, they're just like, "Guys, we got to get rid of these catfish." Like, that's number one. We got to get rid of the catfish. And it is like one of the players, we'll go through the list of them, but there's one character named Lee who is a catfish playing a character, River, and his entire arc is him being like, I'm gonna get these catfish if it's the last damn thing I do.
It has nothing to do with the game. It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect your ratings. Emily, the fact that he got caught and was like, "What am I gonna do?" And it's like, dude, why don't you just do a big confession where you're like, "I wasn't brave enough to tell you who I really am, so I came in as Emily. That's actually my sister. I was just like go to the sympathies." But he was just like, "Nah, I'll just hope they don't know I'm a catfish." And then they were all like, "He's a catfish, so we have to kick him out." And it's like, what? But why?
Yeah,
why would you destroy your alliance because he's a catfish? Yeah. What does it matter to the game?
Yeah, Sam was talking about this.
I don't think this show is set up well to represent what could be a super good competitive show like the Survivors and the Big Brothers of the world. But honestly, I feel like when I watched Survivor and Big Brother in 2020, 2021, like the climate of it is so different, where even over the last few years on Big Brother, like the people that are winning are the people that are like, "I was genuine and real and like peace and love and which, is fine. But it's like the days of the savage villain in reality TV competitive game shows are dead. And for better or for worse, in my opinion, for worse, but whatever. But it's like I agree with you, Zach, that the season 1 was just like sunshine and rainbows and was no fun to watch. Season 2 like dipped its toe into what could be. And that's why when Jack, who played Emily, who you're talking about, like the guy who got caught as a girl, or was playing a girl, was a guy, got caught, was like, I really was rooting for him at first because he was like, "Yeah, I'll be the villain. I don't care. Like, yeah, I hope I'm the biggest villain the circle's ever seen." And I was like, heck yeah, let's go. But it's like, I don't know. The climate of the circle is not set up to support that energy.
I want to give one brief note to Jack. He was the villain of the circle in that, I don't know if you guys saw this, but when they were given costumes to dress like rock stars, he did write "bad boy" onto his own arms, up and down his own arms. And every time I saw him after that, I was like, he's a bad boy. He wrote it on his own arms. Like, only a bad boy would do that.
That was during the party, and I did notice one person specifically not in the party, because I watched it several times, because I was like, wait, is this... I guess, first of all, the party was just one of the bleakest moments of television. I mean, every time they do a party on the Circle, it is incredibly bleak and sad. But Chloe just totally opted... Like, I noticed that, and I was like, oh, she just didn't do the party at all. She just said, nope, I'm not doing this pathetic thing.
She opted out of the party, Sam, because she was sick. They said it in the episode.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. They're like,
oh,
Chloe's gonna go take a nap because she's not feeling well. And then I was like, oh, see ya.
Yeah, well, I'll cut that out. Whatever. Anyway.
Oh, it's because you were wrong?
Yeah, I'm editing it. I'm never wrong on the show.
He who controls Sam is the winner that is rewriting history. He is
yeah, that's true.
Sam, you got some real Circle energy there.
Yeah.
But I feel like the show is set up where it could be, or maybe it needs to decide whether it wants to be this like ruthless game of villains backstabbing each other for the money, and y'all are saying like the catfishing doesn't matter. Or I think it could go the opposite way and be more of that like lovey-dovey whatever. And be kind of a like social commentary on popularity. It's like a modern MySpace top 8, right? Like that, kind of like a commentary on what it takes to be popular. Kind of like, did y'all see Love is Blind? Like that concept of like blind friendship almost. But it's not doing either. It's like halfway trying to be both.
Yeah,
that's what I think they're missing. Because it's like that's where the catfish thing is so confusing, because it is at its core a competition reality show. But they need to just tweak, and I don't know how to do this, but they need to tweak the rules in some way to add consequences to catfishing. Like there's no like The Mole. Have you ever seen The Mole? It's a competition reality show where one of the players was an actor who was actively sabotaging the other player. So one of the players was like the mole, and the game was to get the mole out, and so they were all trying to figure out who the mole was in the show. And if they got him out, they all won, I think. And I don't know, there was but there were stakes involved, as opposed to this where it's like, oh, Emily's a guy, who cares?
Yeah, it's like there is absolutely no reason to seek out catfishes, and it's honestly got to the point where like, see, 2 seasons into this, I would not want to go in as a catfish, because every time it happens, it's just like any mistake you make, you're going to like be under a like a microscope. Most tragically with Jack, and he had to do a makeup challenge, and he just absolutely destroyed it. Did so terribly.
In a bad way.
Yeah, no, in a bad way. Delisa, who is Trevor's wife, playing as Trevor, did so well that no one was very suspicious of that, which I thought was very funny.
I thought she was going to blow her cover too, because it was like she did an amazing job, and it was like Trevor. Why would Trevor know how to do makeup that well?
Yeah,
it was funny that I feel like they called out several times throughout the season that Trevor was very feminine sounding, like the challenges, he looked way too good and but no one ever like really chased that down.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah,
thank God. I was so glad he won.
I was very much team Trevor the whole way through. But actually same. Well, not really the whole way through. In the beginning of the game, and this is kind of getting to more gameplay talk, I was very much team Courtney until Courtney went mad with power.
That was great.
Yeah, so there was one function. There's 2 interesting functions that were added into the Circle this season, and I felt like they like put it in front of us and goes, "This is pretty cool, right?" And we were like, "Yeah, more of this." And they're like, "That's all you get." And we were like, So the gameplay function I'm talking about is with Courtney, he got to play as a separate character called the Joker. And he got to basically go in and influence the 2 newcomers before they got introduced to the rest of the Circle crew. And he played it perfectly. He played it like absolutely like 100%, like flawlessly played it to where he was trying to sound like another person, and basically got a target on Emily, Jack's back for the rest of the game. And it was like played perfectly. And I was like, oh, wow, I love this. I would love to see more things like this. And when Emily, Jack, and Lance Bass played
That
by...
was a twist. That was fucking wild.
Would either of you have believed that was really Lance Bass?
Like
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not smart. I don't know. I might have believed him immediately. I could have believed it was me from the future. I can believe anybody.
My girlfriend and I were talking about it, and we genuinely were just like, oh, what a losing strategy. You're not going to win. Like, no one's going to vote for Lance Bass to win $100,000. And then, like, I was thinking that everyone figured it out pretty quick, and it was like, okay, so it's in my best interest to keep this person around, because if they're in the final four, it's basically the final three, because, like, no one's going to vote for Lance to win this thing. So I think that everyone kind of figured that out going forward. So it was just like, and Lance was played by his secretary, Lisa, and it was like such a losing move the whole way through.
So wild.
But yeah, no, when they came back in the game, so the other thing that I thought was interesting was Jack, who's playing Emily, and Lisa, who's playing Lance, got to come back into the game as a team, and I loved their whole dynamic. Everything about them was perfect. They got to come
Jack
back.
Jack took a real turn. He got to become a real he went from a heel to a face really quick, where it's like he's the villain of the show, and then you put him and Lisa together, he's just a lovable guy.
Yeah. I think he was like,
I thought that went well.
Yeah,
I thought that was risky. I thought it was risky because it was like, you just never know what two people are going to get together that could really just, be awkward. And I thought they were a good match.
Yeah, they were.
I did feel like Lisa was not bringing a ton to the table, but it worked. Who? Lisa, I thought Jack was definitely steering that ship.
Yeah, that was kind of like you got to, because like Jack, that was kind of like when I respect him a bit more as a player. I was like, oh, he's doing a good job. Like he's totally encompassed this new character. And I know it's him doing a good job because Lisa's not doing jack shit. Like, she's just sitting there. Meanwhile, like, Jack is coming up with this whole other persona, like, trying to, like, get it to work. And I was like,
the psychic thing was funny. Because they brought the new character they both took on was a 64-year-old man.
Yeah.
That was a psychic. So they took the information. Which is
so good.
So good. And they took the information they had about the players from playing the game, and they applied it to, like, the guy. What was his name?
John.
They applied it to John's psychic powers. I thought that was pretty good. I do think it's totally unfair, and I'm so confused why they keep doing this, why they bring players on, like, later in the game.
Yeah.
It's they don't have any chance.
Yeah, so that was the one thing towards the end where it was like, they must have known. Like, Lisa and Jack must have known. It was like, oh, we're a circus sideshow right now. Like, we're the clowns that are being brought in to, like, mess stuff up.
How funny would it have been, though, if strategically the other four players that, like, actually had a chance to win had put John first to lower everyone else's rating, and then they had won. I was like, honestly, I would think that's hilarious. Like,
yeah, and then
it would really kind of blow up the show.
Yeah,
and of course that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's why I think that they played it pretty well, just being a general all around likable, but like not too like otherly nosy guy, because like people that there was the chance that people would put him higher because it's like, okay, well, I have my enemies and I'm putting them last no matter what. So I'm just gonna put this rando like in second.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And so like in an effort to like, so Courtney was never going to put anyone but River in his number one spot. So he would then be like, okay, well, I don't really want anyone else over here. So even at the end, even after all that, I said that, but even after all of like the camaraderie and like brotherhood that Courtney and River had, he put River in like the second or third, and I was just like, damn, it is a cold world.
See, Courtney, and that's where it's like, if all the players did that, it would be a better show, because then you would be afraid everyone's doing that, and you would have to like go there and then go back in your head and like, what if I do it, but then what if everyone else does? And that's where the show was more competitive up until the final round or two. And then it just flipped right back to like lovey-dovey. no, I'm going to vote for who's genuine.
That's what Rivers said in his last. He goes, this last rating, it's no strategy, it's all heart. And I yelled at the TV. I said, "Why would you do that? Why would you do all heart? Don't do that. It's a game. It's a game show. Play the game show. Don't."
And I think it like the things that the gameplay that are just very tedious to watch. So me getting excited for the show was with the drama between Savannah and Terralisha. That was incredible that they both became influencers, realized they like butted heads in the smallest way possible, and then just like had some very weird Cold War style, like mutually assured destruction where they both destroyed each other. And
bottom of the ratings every week.
It was both of them were at the bottom, and then Savannah left, and the next time Terralisha left. Like it was
so
and I think to your point, Brooklyn, it was because they were both like being drama, and everyone was like, we don't like drama. I'm like, this is a no drama zone. So Savannah and Terralisha are out of here.
Okay, I thought they were really setting Savannah up to be like the Sammy of season 1. Like she was getting a lot of airtime. She was just like a generally likable, cute girl. I was kind of glad to see her go because I was like, we're gonna watch the same season over again.
But I really enjoyed that. Like when they were kind of butting heads and against each other, I was like, yeah. Especially there was this one moment where Terralisha, it's like they're both at the bottom, and it's the week that Savannah ends up going, and Terralisha opens up a group chat with her, like just a private chat with her, and it's just like this moment where they're just like, how come you said all those things about me, yada yada yada. It's just like they had a moment where it's just like, this is a misunderstanding, or like, hey, like I played the game, da 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 da, and like in the middle of Savannah like about to explain what's going on, Terralisha leaves the chat, and it was like the most like sassy thing to do, and I was so here for it. I loved it so much. In terms of my like circle memories, I don't remember a lot from the show, but I remember that one vividly.
It's like on Survivor. A thing that I hate on Survivor is when people like don't want to lie, and they're like, "Well, I'm just an honest person." It's like, why the fuck did you come on Survivor? Like, this is a lying show. The game, you're not a dishonest person for lying during a lying game. That's like bluffing in poker and thinking you're a liar. No, that's the game. And like they're like, oh, well, this person, it was rude to me, or they would do this drama where they're like, oh, they called me. They could never just be like, oh, they're playing a game. Of course they called me a liar.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though, that the circle isn't set up that way. And I don't know how that happened. But like even back on season 1, I'm like, did you guys talk before? Did the producers tell you like this is what the show is? Because they all came on with that exact same energy of like, we only like positive vibes. We don't want fake people. Everyone needs to be genuine. Everyone needs to love each other. And it's like, well, that doesn't make good TV. So
and or makes sense for the game.
Yeah. I wanted to say kind of, I haven't seen any Big Brother in a while. I only watched one season when it was when I was in high school. But I remember this specific moment. It was like they didn't come on in teams, but something had happened to where there was like a dad and a daughter who had been on previous seasons, and then they were together. And they had like a weird relationship, and they like teamed up like in this like way where it's like, hey, we know each other, let's put our weird baggage aside and let's work together. And it like kind of ended with like her having to like double cross him, and he kind of had this moment where he was like, that's the game. Like that's like, it's like, yeah, you're my daughter, but that's the way it happens, And
that is why he goes down.
Damn. Do you know
That's
what I'm
why he
talking
goes
about?
down as evil dick. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Brooklyn's a huge Big Brother fan.
Okay. Yeah. So
what you might call a super fan.
Yeah. I referenced that one moment, and because I know that she won the season, that's all I really remember about it. But I referenced that, and everyone's like, I already know what this is. I already know who this guy is, and I'm like, this person, because that was one of the things. There is something that I think can be taken over from Big Brother, as well as even to some lesser degree, and probably the Survivor as well, and also The Bachelor, which is like establishing a universe where it's like this is the like I call it the BCU, the Bachelor Cinematic Universe, where someone walks on.
It's called Bachelor Nation.
Yeah. Where like someone walks into frame, and like it just by the camera movements alone, I'm like, I'm supposed to know who this is, and like. the people I'm with are like, and I'm like, they know who this person is. I have no idea who this person is, but the way that the framing is happening is like, this is Nick Fury coming at the end of Iron Man. Like, I'm supposed to know who this is. And I really thought they
Thanos at the end of
Yeah. So and like they kind of do. I mean, I'm assuming they do that because I remember while I was watching that Big Brother season, the people I were with, whenever Dick or whatever his name is, when he walked in, everyone was just like, guys, this is it. And I was like, I have no idea who this man is. Sam, I know that you're a Survivor fan, and I'm assuming they do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's a lot of return people,
Yeah, so I really felt like in a very small way, they kind of like dropped the ball with like at least having like a moment where it's just like, and now here's a video call from Shoebomb or what, like any of the like previous characters or even.
No, wait a minute. But they have Mitchell, who is the brother.
They do have Mitchell. That's true. They do have Mitchell. Mitchell.
Yeah, I was reading online that they were talking about how much they were trying to cross promote their own queer, like Netflix shows within the season of how they had Jonathan Van Ness, who came on and represents Queer Eye, and how the Chloe character was on Netflix's Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah,
which
emphasis on character, because Chloe is either A, like that. The entire way that she was the entire season, or B, she is the like greatest strategist of all time. Like, she didn't win, but she could have. And like, there's like so many things she was doing. I'm like, this cannot be real. Like this cannot be a person like walking this earth.
I know. And I thought too, if you think about like casting a show like this, you have to find people that are going to sit in a room by themselves for days and narrate out loud their thoughts and be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, not going to be good on that show.
Yeah.
Nope.
But like, you're finding like the 1% of 1% of outgoing and crazy and whatever. And that feels like it was well represented.
Yeah, I really think there's like so many things. I am of the mind that producers would kind of like cue them in, just like, hey, something's about to happen. Because the things that Chloe was doing when the alerts happen is like, she's like trying to one up herself in like ridiculousness. Like, there's this one scene where she's making her bed, but she is like holding both ends of the sheet and she's like jumping onto it like how a frog would, like trying to get her sheets
like a woman
on.
who's never made a bed before.
Yeah. And then there's another one where she's like pretending to be like a secret agent, and she's like rolling across her bed and she's like pretending to like point a gun around the room, and it's just like. And I was like, oh, that must have been from earlier. But then, like, they'll do the alert, and then she's still in that same situation going, oh, alert, or whatever. And I'm just like, the producer...
Blimey.
Yeah, I'm like, the producers have to be like, hey, something's about to happen. Because otherwise, she is just on all the time, and she is just, like, low-key, intensely brilliant, and just, like, her timing of just wanting to do, like, the silliest thing in the world.
Yeah, I saw she won fan favorite, and I thought that was well deserved.
Oh yeah, I mean, everything she said was hilarious and ridiculous, and like even something to the degree of, and this happened twice, so it must have been a thing where they were like, "Hey, you guys can start a chat. If you're going to start a chat while you're in a bath, you have to have all of the bubbles imaginable just like coming up off of you, so as to create a very comical image of you just in a bubble bath." And it happened twice. It happened with Chloe, and it happened, I think, with Mitchell. I think both of them were taking like the most intense bubble bath of all time.
Yes, no, it did. I gotta say, obviously the producers are doing a lot of work that we don't see, but just a couple shout outs. The editors, good on them for making what has to be an unimaginably boring amount of footage incredibly entertaining. Like it's, but also we should have said to the top of the show, the people who are pretending to be that computer app thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are typing out those messages and making all the contestants think that there is an app that can do those things. You all are really, when they're like, I'd like the picture of me where I look cute in the gray shirt, and then the picture comes up and you know there's some sweaty intern who's just clicking around like, thank you for your service. You're doing such a great job. Or like they'll be like, oh, this won't work in a podcast form, but where there was one I think where Kat, she goes, and then do this face, and she like puts her like a check mark, like her thumb and her finger on her chin, you know, like a But that's all she's like, and then maybe like this emoji, and then they put it on the screen, and it's like, yeah, a computer can't do that. A computer doesn't know how that works. And
These poor people just on the other end of the screen just furiously typing everything that they're saying.
Right. And two, it's like they will like type it the way that the person said it. So it's like,
oh yeah,
what's up with you? And it would literally type like,
or
with
like
you, you know?
Courtney would sometimes say, I am gagged. And then they would type that in all capital letters.
Right.
Like, but don't you think that would be kind of handy in your life? If you could just be like, wherever this emoji is, and it would just do it. That would be so handy.
You're describing having like a digital slave though, because like I said, a computer can't do that thing. Like,
we would get way too far into the zone of like AI for it to be we're entering into an ethical gray area when it comes to that.
I'm saying you have to have a person on the other side of your cell phone, a human being doing it.
There's also a trade-off there, which is you have to end every one of your text messages in inexplicable hashtags that don't go anywhere. That is incredibly important.
Okay, I was just thinking too. They did that on season 1 too, and I feel like if they hadn't, if someone had started that on season 1 and then it came to season 2, it would make more sense. But who told them to do that? Like nobody uses hashtags like that.
I think like producers may have told them to like, because like the hashtags were used as like a punchline or something like that. Like they were used as kind of like an exclamation point. So I'm thinking that some producer was like, the kids will love this. The kids love hashtags. They're always tagging. They're always hashing. There's always the For You page or there's something else. They're always tagging. And then so they would just have these like inexplicably long hashtags.
But also it's like, it's not like you could go back in your messages.
Yeah, there's no functionality for it.
And see all the messages that had hashtag Circle Sisters. Like, there's no function. I understand, like, culturally, like, something like Circle Sisters. But then they would be like, I'm blessed. And it's like, or hashtag I'm blessed. And it's like, you could just say I'm blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that sentence would make... Again, Circle Sisters, I understand. Like, okay, I get conversationally, like, yes, it doesn't functionally make sense, but I understand culturally why you would make a hashtag out of that. But then they would do things that are just sentences that could be just sentences, and they're like, hashtag, let's do this. And it's like, why do you say what is it? Why are you putting a hashtag there?
Like, or they'll be like, hashtag my jaw was on the floor, or so, like something like that, or something deeply specific to what they were just talking about.
Okay, let me ask you guys this, because as I'm watching, the format screams to me that kind of like camera in the sky watching you at all times format feels like it's become a like Big Brother live feed, Love Island, like nightly episode kind of vibe, like over the last few years. So imagine The Circle has like nightly episodes, or like The Circle After Dark, where you can like watch the days unfold. Would you watch it?
So, that is I did not realize that Big Brother had one of those. So are you saying that there is a Big Brother, like you can just you can watch a live feed of it? Like
yep. You pay for CBS All Access and you watch the live feeds.
Hypothetically, if Big Brother had like live feeds that you had to pay for so you could watch throughout the week, there's no way Brooklyn would pay.
It's not my shining moment. It's really not.
Now, how does
didn't do that, did you? I don't.
How does Big Brother operate? Is it happening in real time?
Yep. Well, on the live feeds, you can watch it in real time. I think there's like a 4-second delay because you're not allowed to talk about production. So if someone says, it's like someone's watching all times and they'll cut it off if someone says something you shouldn't hear. But They only cut it off routinely during the competition. So you don't see any of that live. But and you don't see like, them voting someone out. But then they'll come back on and you can see like who's gone.
Oh, so that's some getting really, really into deep big. So the thing I guess I'm confused about is the live. So episodes come out on a Thursday, let's say, and are the episodes coming out that Thursday, like in real time? Like if it came out this Thursday, it'd be coming out today, and the live stream is a live feed of the previous days. Like their edit turnaround time is that fast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That
and
is
Love Island is the same
wild.
way. I think they have 5 nights a week episodes of Love Island because it's the same thing. Like it's Bachelor in Paradise kind of idea where they just lay around this, beach house and they just edit it like 24/7 and crank out an episode a night. And so that's where I'm like, The Circle, we had 13 episodes released over 4 weeks, maybe something like that on Netflix.
Yeah.
But really, it could have been released over 2 weeks, 5 nights a week, like nightly. And that's probably the way it's filmed.
So I'm pitching this to you. This is an interesting thing. If it wasn't an eyeglass into the saddest situation possible. Like I'm thinking of if I could have seen a live feed of the Circle parties they would have, it would just be like, this is incredibly sad. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen.
And you're right. It is kind of interesting to think the difference between watching live interaction in real people, like on Love Island or Big Brother, versus live, just literally someone sitting in an apartment. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone just
it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Mitchell
let's
just
be clear on the record that I would not pay for that.
That one. You wouldn't pay for that reality show.
Yeah. Mitchell cooking like his seemingly endless like piles of like baked chicken. Like every time they cut to him, he was always eating chicken. Like there was
you don't get strong like that without eating a lot of chicken. I mean, he puts in the work. Dude's very strong. Oh
yeah, no, he's out there. He's at the gym. Yeah, that's the one. I would want I would just want the cuts of them going to the jacuzzi and just like hanging out. One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is, so you guys just finished the episodes today, so you haven't had enough time to really get into the post-circle circuit, which is one of my favorite things that had happened last season and it happened this season in spades.
Ooh, please share.
So the circle is basically when people go on The Bachelor and then it turns out they have like an album coming out, it's like, you're not trying to win The Bachelor.
They're not there for the right reasons.
Yeah, they're not there for the right reasons. They're a different person when the cameras are on. So they're very intent on their goal is to become influencers. And so there is this like kind of like post-circle mad dash to just grab as many fans as you can and like just keep engagement up. And so I've been following all of them on Instagram. And the one thing, so Mitchell is shirtless in every single picture. That is not surprising. He's a strong boy. And
he's earned it.
He has also started a YouTube channel where he answers fan questions. One thing also, this was a pretty funny thing that I already kind of knew about. I really didn't want Chloe to win the $100,000 because I was like, Chloe is gonna be
Agreed.
Chloe's gonna be fun.
She's gonna be selling hair gummies in the next 2 weeks.
Just okay. And exactly right. She has like 1.9 million followers. She's doing numbers. So I kind of like put her off in a separate category where it's like she is already like an established model, so she doesn't really need to do that post-circle mad dash. But the two that I find, there's 4 that I want to bring up. There is Jack, who you already knew. He would be doing some bullshit. He's been making a lot of TikToks of him dancing recently. He's flown out to LA where he's doing collabs with the rest of the Circle crew. Joey makes in several appearances. So
sure.
Sammy is making appearances. Like, you're kind of brought into this Circle world where like it's what you wanted from the show, where like he's doing a TikTok of him dancing and it cuts over and it's like, oh shit, it's Sammy. And like she's doing a thing too. So he's doing it pretty well. Also, there is Savannah, who is hanging out with Jack a lot, just cranking out those TikToks.
That's wild, because she really wasn't that big of the show, you know? Character.
I think it is because she was like really drama filled in the very beginning that she is pretty memorable. Sure. And I think you're exactly right that she
really wants it.
She was being set up, I think, to like, it was shocking whenever she went off, because it was like, whoa, like you're not on this thing all that much. And I think that kind of tricked our brains into
she's
Lee,
memorable, yeah.
Like Lee, aka River, I did not think he was going to make it very far, because they almost never showed him on camera in the first couple episodes.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I don't really know. There are a couple of people that are not making appearances. There's a lot of like Bryant is making no appearances. Bryant, who is the angel, the king of my heart, the guy who was kicked off the first episode, who is
sweet boy.
Only positive vibes. There's one cut that I want to make a gif of, and it's the cut of him like losing, and it's like this open mouth, like gaping stare of him like kind of smiling, and goes like, that's tough. And it's just like, or it's like, that's disappointing. And it's just like, it's like he's an alien.
Wait, can I interrupt you? One of my favorite reactions in the whole show is when everything starts falling apart for Tara, Alicia, and Savannah. That's her name, right? Savannah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where Tara, Alicia is 8th or 7th. She's last place.
Mm-hmm.
And Savannah does this huge victory lap around the apartment, and it's like going out. They have like 60 seconds, which is a lot. 60 seconds of footage of her just like, yeah, all right, everything's going great. And then she's second to last, and her face is dropping. Where she goes, well, that's not great. It's so funny.
There is a lot of moments like that where
moment.
Yeah, someone is done dirty by the edit. It's just like, dang, they really got you.
So funny.
Or like any time, I swear to you, anytime they cut to Jack, he's being done dirty. Like it'll be something where he'll say something along the lines of like like it'll be like Jack, he's a good player. He's making some moves, and they'll cut to him, and he's like doing push-ups, but he's doing push-ups in the absolute wrong, like the most incorrect way possible. Or they'll be like, like it'll say something where Jack is like, everyone's talking about how bad his makeup was, and then it'll cut to him, and it'll be like, yeah, I think I'm in a pretty secure spot right now.
Everyone's chat when they were done, they were just like, I did great, which was a feature of season 1. There was one player who specifically thought everyone this season thought they were Machiavelli, and it was so funny.
Yeah, everybody was.
Okay, but can we talk about how when they revealed Emily Jack's makeup thing, and everybody was like, oh, he's totally a catfish.
Yeah.
And he just burst into tears.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
That was rough. That was rough. I wanted to look away, but then I couldn't, because I was like, this is funny. But
that's why I think
he
needed to pivot. Because he should be. I mean, it is embarrassing to cry on national television, but he was losing $100,000. But that's why he needed to pivot and be like, you're right, you caught me, I'm a catfish. I was and lie and be like, I was just too scared to show you who I really am, because I didn't think you would accept me. I was bullied in high school, or got it. Bullshit, whatever, who cares? But he didn't do that. That was his moment. He needed to pivot.
Such a good point. Yeah.
There's exactly. And then, but I feel if you spun it that way, even people would be like, "Oh, he's a catfish, but he's honest." And then he made like. They may let him do a thing where he gets to change his picture into who he actually is, because that's exactly what happened to Sean first season, where Sean came in as like a model, and then she was like, "Hey guys, I'm being dishonest. Like, this is not who I am," and it changed, and everyone was just like, "Cool, like good, thank you."
Almost like everybody has to keep you around because you were honest. Like, it's almost like a guaranteed stay for at least 2 more rounds.
Yeah. And then they're playing the right way. But the other player the other two players I want to talk to you about is I wanted to talk to you about Lee. Lee, who plays River. I think that of all the people, the edit was the kindest to Lee. He is just like, he's this kind of like cute old man, but on his Instagram, he's like trying to do a lot of content, trying to do a lot of engagement. And he's like always doing like Instagram stories, and his Instagram stories are so awkward. Like he'll do the thing where he goes, "Hi guys. Oh, hey." Like he's like talking to the comments as they're coming up. And there's like one video of him, he's like talking and he says something along the lines of, he's like, "Hey everybody, I just had a thought that I wanted to share. And that was, my friend Butt dialed me. And then I got in touch with her and I was like, I have a better relationship with your butt than I have with you." I was like, good one, Lee.
Okay.
Good one.
I have some real dish on Lee. He's the only one I did some research on.
Ooh.
But I'm really hoping you guys...
Was it on his books?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Oh, I don't know any of this.
Do you know it?
No, I don't know at all.
No.
But it was like one of those things where, as you said, you did research. I thought to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I should have looked into his books.
Yeah. I'm so thankful that I get to deliver this information to you guys. So Lee is an old man who writes books under a woman's pen name. And he said that like a few times and I never really thought anything about it. It wasn't until the end of the season that I thought, I wonder what he writes. So I Googled it, and turns out sweet Lee writes erotic novels.
I knew it.
Let me deliver some titles to you guys.
Yes.
Gotta hear about it.
Yeah, this is we're gonna have to bring you back for I'll have a secret book club and you'll have a spicy book club.
I want to say I am officially voting against Spicy Book Club, but 2 out of 3. I don't know if I can overrule you all, but I do want to vocalize my vote against.
We're not going to read
the
books in Spicy Book Club. We're just going to laugh at the titles. Okay, here we go. I've got 4 for you. First, Secret Cravings, Texas Wolfpack. That's one.
Oh no, so it's like werewolf? Oh no.
Cannot be sure. The second is Primal Desires.
That's good. That's a good.
He writes werewolf books.
The third is 3 to Play. And my personal favorite is number 4, Mia's Spanking Diaries.
That's good. That is absolutely good.
And he seems like such a good, innocent guy on the show, and that was unexpected. Good for him.
So this one, I'm seeing his, I'm seeing the ones that he has written as himself. And
I didn't look at those.
The ones that he's written as himself are, so you guys have seen erotic book covers. It's that, but imagine, we got a fireman, we got a cowboy.
Okay.
It's called the fireman in Unit C, the cowboy in Unit E, the doctor in Unit H. There's one called Cupid's Arrow, and that guy is in shape.
I thought you were describing one title. I thought the title of the book was the doctor and like all 3
no.
of those.
They're all different. They're all different titles. They're all different titles. And
I see.
And you know what? It's $5 for each of them. So I mean, for some rinky-dink fan fiction, like that's not, that's
what's not fan fiction?
It's pretty rinky-dink. Okay, I forgot a very important detail that I need to add here. He did co-write one with his mother.
That's good. That's good. An erotic thing?
Yes.
Hell yeah. I really should have known in that. Obviously,
in hindsight,
he does,
obviously,
it
feels obvious,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking that. So some of these, the firemen in Unit C and cowboy in Unit E and all that, those are a part of a series called Mockingbird Place. And I'm thinking that it's kind of like this is an apartment where they all live.
That's the apartment complex where a lot of sexy men live.
Yeah, a lot of there's a very in shape culture here at this.
I love that he was like, I'm a writer, and just never. Okay, can I say one thing too about reality television that and The Bachelor is the worst about this. I can't believe they tried to pull this shit on The Circle just because of how The Circle is set up. I don't care if any character is a virgin ever again. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this like big reveal that like you're not gonna see Mitchell in real life. Why the fuck does this matter? Like, why is this important that Mitchell is a virgin? It is not like you all will not interact with each other. And every TV show,
no, well,
they always
that
have
was
to like, and this one's the virgin. It's like, I don't understand why that's important to this show.
Yeah, that was a part of the brilliance of Chloe's game, where she would like say something. There was one moment in particular where she said, I don't know when I'm going to drop the bomb that I fancy Mitchell, and goes, it doesn't matter, sister. Like, this is not a dating show. Like, it does not matter.
Completely irrelevant to the show.
And then she was like, oh, I'm glad I stuck with Trevor. And it's just like not a dating show. It's still not a dating show.
And Trevor, I mean, I'll tell you, the best players, in my opinion, were Jack, Courtney, and Trevor. And Trevor played an amazing game. And also was the only...
Or Delisa?
I didn't learn anyone's real name.
Delisa.
Okay, well, it was great. I know it was because of the edit, because of course they already knew who won. But those last like 2-3 episodes, they really tuned the edit to make me like, oh, Delisa's the only one who should win. Like, Trevor is the only... It's like, oh, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to go travel. And she's like, I'm going to buy a house for me and my infant daughter.
Yeah.
It's like, I really would like her.
Well, not only that, but she was the only one at the end that was like going after the powerhouse players and trying to play any game of like turning their own alliance against them.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought the really defining moment for Trevor was when Chloe was like, yo, I have feelings for you, which was like, okay, cool. But she like stuck to her guns. She was like, okay, whatever, I'm here to win money for my family. And I was like, good for you.
So
it's a game. It's a lying game. You should lie. It's a lying game.
Absolutely.
So I did want to bring this up, and it is not to disparage Delisa or Trevor, but I did find out something about them that I quite enjoy.
Okay.
They also write erotic novels.
They also write So there was a moment. So she was doing a Instagram live, and she was answering questions, and I had this moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, like her kid is so like cute, like her husband is so like attractive, like this is good. This is family vlogger shit, like sure. Through and through. This is like and I was like, they should start one. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then I found her YouTube. It's called The Saints Family. And they have been family vloggers for quite a while.
No.
Yeah. So they have been trying to get this family vlog thing like off the ground running for like a long while. And they do like the prank videos, like I pranked my pregnant wife, and like this is like we're on a trip, or like this is my daughter unboxing something, or this is a work like that sort of like thing. And all of them have all the classic thumbnails, all of like the family vlogger like energy that's coming along with it. And when I saw that, I was like, honestly, hell yeah, like because if you're like a family vlogger that is trying to get things going, because there is so much money in family vlogging. Think of like the Ace family, who like just like built a mansion that looks like a mall, and they're just like, yeah, we're pretty happy here. We might move soon. Like that sort of energy. And I was like, that is like moving into a new house is quintessential family vlog content. So I told
you're gonna turn me into shoe bomb by the end of this if you keep talking about them. That's such a bummer that they're family vloggers.
Yeah, so when I mean it's fine, but when I found that out, I was just like, yeah, they're gonna use that $100 to have a down payment on their house, and probably some better lighting equipment, and probably a really good camera, and probably
that makes sense though, because on these shows where they have like little children, that is the only the only reason that people go on those shows is because they're trying to be famous.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
So
you don't leave your 2-year-old at home.
Yeah, so that was the thing that I was thinking, because when I was like Trevor was like there was like so many things where Trevor was like suspiciously perfect, and then he's a trainer, and I was like, oh, that makes sense because he's like a bodybuilder type, and then that Brooklyn, I kind of had that same thought of, it's just like, man, she like left her kids, and it's like this is only going to pay dividends, even if they lost. Like this would still pay dividends in like the way of like them getting more traction to like their family vlog, and like once you get that ball rolling, like it is an unstoppable machine. Where like, and they're actually pregnant again, about to have a second kid, moving into a new house. It is
they're set for life on their vlog content.
Like, so their bag is secure. And
wait, I don't remember. Did she give like where the kid was? Like, because she was playing as a single dad.
Mm-hmm.
So did she explain where the kid was?
Yeah,
no, she didn't. Not on screen, at least.
No, yeah, she never did. So that was one thing that I thought was really interesting, because like whenever it was the reveal, like that's like so many things, like when you're playing the game, like you have so much time to think and so much time to strategize. And like I just imagine looking at those pictures, you're just kind of like, where's this kid? Like, you are a single father and you left your kid for 2 weeks to fly your ass all the way to England with the intention of like winning this thing. It's like, I don't know, man. That seems
England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because season 1, they show a bunch of footage of the Chicago skyline.
Yeah. So they
like
show
they fake it's in Chicago, but it's in England.
Yeah, it's filmed in England. Yeah.
Oh shit! I totally forgot about that. Well, because that's the thing, is like the way they talk about it. Even though I watched the whole season over the last week, it feels like it goes on for like 6 weeks, but it literally is like 14 days.
Yeah,
like,
it goes
every day. That's
the thing where it seems like there's like that one thing where it's like oh, they brought back the whole.
I thought it was in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, you dummy. It's like, oh,
I'm not smart, guys.
Like they brought back the whole cast. Like, oh, they brought back the whole cast for the finale. It's like, nah, they were there the whole time. Like they never left.
Gosh.
Brian has been in that room for like 2 weeks, just like doing his breathing exercises.
Deep breathing, yeah.
Well, if you look at the building,
why do they do it in England?
I think it's because I think they like have all of the apartments ready. You know, they have everything like all set up. So it's
those
like
are cool apartments.
Yeah, it's easier, I guess. But like at the same time, like I was thinking about this because we knew the first season was filmed in England, and I was just kind of like, man, this seems like a pain in the ass, like during COVID, to bring all of these people into another country and then just do it, just do the decoration somewhere else. Like it doesn't even have to be an apartment. They can just be establishing shots from the same apartment where they can be like literally on a soundstage. Like just put them somewhere else. But yeah, no, they they brought him all the way there.
Well, because if you look at the building, there's like 6 or 8 of those front-facing apartments that the people actually stay in. It's probably like 8 or 10 because they're different designs for each person.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's these other apartments on the side that don't have that like outward balcony like thing, and I assume that's where everyone goes. Like that's where Bryant went, where he just like left his Zen apartment and just went to some regular ass, Soviet style apartment on the other side of the building where he just had to live for 6 weeks.
So I think it's like once that happens, then like you get to go out into the world and like it's like, well, I'm gonna be chauffeured around by these producers in this like in England and just kind of zip around for a bit. So I think that's then
I
like
bet they don't.
And then you have one casting call in like 2 weeks where it's like, all right, you got to stand around and then see the people that are going to win the game right in front of you.
Okay, but I did think too, though, with the room that the Joker went into, it was called the Inner Circle, and it was like all black except it had LED lights, kind of like layered down the wall. And we read right before we started recording that you're blindfolded or you're wearing goggles or whatever, and you're walking through the hallway. So it's like you go from your apartment I'm walking in the hallway, but I can't see maybe. And then I walk into this room. That is my worst nightmare. I was like, that feels like you're about to be murdered in there.
No, I think it feels like it's like, oh shit, am I about to get launched into Tron? Am I about to become a video game right now? Oh no, I knew it.
He was like, this room is so cool. And I was like, no, it's not. That is terrifying.
But if you can't see inside the, like, what are you going to glean from being able to see like down the hallway? Like, why would they blindfold you to get to your room? Why don't you just let me walk down the hallway?
I have no idea. Like, there is no benefit for that. So I don't know. Weird. Like, so you're just gonna see a hallway. I don't like, and even if you're leaving, you're leaving. Like, the only times you ever leave the room are to like get kicked out of the show. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, so, I'd love to do this for 3 more hours, but we're at an hour 6.
Yeah,
so
but. I'm gonna give it 1. I'm gonna give it best show ever. Yeah, it's a really fun watch. We definitely spoiled the whole thing, but it's more about the memories. It's more about them dancing in an alone, like, one room apartment. That's the real $100,000 is the dancing in apartments we did along the way.
My final commentary would be, it's incredibly entertaining. It cliffhangs so well. And then you finish, and it's incredibly forgetful. You don't need to ever think about it again. But a solid 7 of 10 watch.
Yeah, as far as reality television shows go, I would give it, I don't know, 6 circles out of 10. You know, Survivor being a 10 out of 10. I don't know, that Masked show we watched.
10 out of 10 tiki torches. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And then 10 out of 10 Big Brothers, where each Big Brother is bigger than the one younger than him.
The biggest brother.
3 of 10 Bachelor Roses.
Yeah.
Yes. What's that show we watched where everybody's wearing a mask?
Oh, you. Do you mean the show that we're huge fans of?
Yeah, you guys are the only 2 people I know that's ever seen that show.
Well, we haven't. Yeah. We've only ever seen 1 episode of the show, and it is called Mr. Personality, and it is an absolute. It is an editing. It is a crash course on how to not edit a show. It is a perfect nightmare. Good. Love Mr.
So that's
Personality.
0 masks out of 10. 0 masks out of 10 for Mr. Personality. But I will give this 6 circles out of 10.
All right, everyone. Well, that's our show. Thank you all so much for coming to Get Better. If you want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Instagram at Get Better Podcast. That's at Get_Better_Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube at Get Better Podcast, where you can find our full episodes as well as clips that you can send around to everyone. If you're listening to us on Spotify, please do. That's awesome. But if you're listening to us on iTunes, if you could give us a rate and review, that would be awesome. It really helps the show get noticed. And finally, if you want to reach out to us by email, you can find us at meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. That is meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. But that's all I have. So see you guys next week.
All right.
See you bye forever.
See you bye forever.
See you bye forever.